Hey, Mike Warren here with my first match with Mentor Delver, Just Guy Mentor Delver in Modern. Hung out in the 8-man queue for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it never fired, and it never had more than like two people in it, so I'm just going to play, and I mean, that makes sense. Like, people just don't want to play against the Eldrazi decks, I guess. Unless it's a big tournament, you don't really want to run through an 8-man. Um, so I'm just going to play, I jumped in a 2-man. There was a person hanging out in the 2-man queue, and I just thought I jumped in there with him. This hand, I mean, with this deck, you got to keep a lot of land light hands and hope to draw into cantrips, and you have a lot of redraws to lands. But I'm going to keep this hand. First off, I think it's important to think about land sequencing and fetching and like creature sequencing before you decide to keep. That's just kind of like an old trick. So you make sure that your opponent knows, or does your opponent gets as little information as possible. Like, say you have a bunch of 1-drops in your hand. Like, say I have like Serum Visions Delver. Um, I want to decide which one I'm going to cast. It's almost always Delver, but like I want to decide which one I want to cast before I decide to keep, just so your opponent doesn't know that you have multiple 1-mana plays. So like down the road, they can use a dead spell pierce to keep you off of playing a spell they know you probably have. This actually, since I have so many red spells in my deck, but I have so many white cards in my hand, I think this gets a Hollow Fountain and plays Delver. Because I'm likely to draw into, the first land I draw into is likely to be um, a red mana. So I need to draw lands anyways before this hand's kind of functional. This Snapcaster Mage is a pretty long ways off, but yeah, I think this is going to get a Hollow Fountain and cast a Delver. And it gives away when I'm playing like almost 100%, but I need to be able to cast these paths. Like, not getting white mana here would basically just mulligan me to 5. Or 4, actually. So yeah, that was a lot of talk about a pretty simple play, just, oh, this is a bolt, that's bad. Yep. That's really, really bad if I don't draw a land. Okay, well, yeah, a lot of times in this format, your Delver of Secrets will live, or your first threat will live. That's why I feel like this deck's so good right now, just because not a lot of decks play Lightning Bolt. This looks like Dredge, which, I mean, 3 Path to Exiles is pretty good against that deck. I can hit a land here pretty soon. Okay. Like, lands and castable spells are all both fine. I'd rather hit a land so I can start deploying these Storm Chasers, but having so many Path to Exiles is going to be pretty great in this matchup, I think. Being able to actually exile their creatures they're trying to recur. Is a second Bolt that's pretty bad? Wow, okay. And this is a Troll guy? Oh, Life and Alone, okay. Okay, there's a land, that's good. This will go get a blue-red. Now I can at least get a little clock going. I'm already pretty far behind in the life race because of my mana base, but there's a third bolt. I guess it's still not that bad because I can actually deploy threats now. Seismic Assault. Oh, okay. There's a Seismic Assault there. I guess Dredge, Loam, or whatever, they all can be Seismic Assault decks. Loam back some lands. It's interesting. So it looks like this matchup may not be too good. He has Bolts and Abrupt Decays and Seismic Assault. It's okay. We might get our guy killed here. Terminate. Yeah. Bolt, Decay, and Terminate in this deck is going to be really, really hard to beat. But I'm not giving up. Just flashback looting. Probably discard some lands and loan them back. Okay. So what's in my graveyard? Vision, just creatures. Sometimes I thought I had visions. Oh, because I was talking about visions earlier. All right, so I guess I'm not gonna shock because I'm just going to fork bolt this, get some damage through. It's good to know that he has Birds of Paradise. Our gut shots and fork bolts are gonna be pretty good here. Still not great though. Still not great because of all the removal he has. There's 3 different Path to Exiles. This is non-foil, this is foil, and this is a different art altogether, but oh well. Okay, Ghost Quarter and Raging Ravine. If he just starts like Ghost Quartering and loaning back Ghost Quarters, that could get pretty ugly. Because I only have 2 basic lands in my deck. We'll go ahead and get that out of here. So you can't even loan it back, which is good. Okay, sure. Found the 3rd bolt. And I found the Storm Chaser Mage. 3rd Storm Chaser Mage. Alright. I think if I were him, I would just start Ghost Quartering me. I would think I would have Ghost Quartered there and loaned it back. And Ghost Quartered again. And then I'm out of basic land, so it's just strip mine for the rest of the game. Really glad he's not doing that. I could not beat this Ghost Quarter over and over. It's another Terminate. Tassiger. Okay. Um, 13, 12 could go. I'm debating right now on whether or not I want to path this Tassiger and be mana efficient, or if I want to see. I have exactly 2 cards in my deck that I would draw that would make me regret not pathing the Tassiger now, but it gets it an extra point of damage. So I'm deciding whether or not the risk of me drawing a Mentor and not being able to just cast it is worth the 1 point of damage that I'm going to get in if I think I'm actually going to untap and try to just push damage through. Okay. That's not a bad draw. Well, it is a pretty bad draw, but if he were just Ghost Quartering me, I would want to be drawing lands. So what to do here? Probably just path his Tassiger and attack. Yeah. It's a powerful magic card. Not seeing a lot of play right now, but in either standard or modern, because standard it's so bad against Reflector Mage, and in modern because I mean your turn 2 4/5 is just not impressive anymore. How many basics he has in his deck? Probably more. No, probably not more than. Well, that's good for me. Raven's Crime. That's bad. Okay. See if he can Raven's Crime me twice here. Man. I probably knew he had a land in his hand, but he's been loaming back. I just assumed. Definitely not getting. See, I can't even really cast anything that I draw. Or I can't even really cast anything. I can cast Path to Exile, but I have no target for it, so I think I just get a tap land. Definitely don't get these basic lands. I think I just want another blue and red mana. Yeah. Waiting on my opponent to decide if they want to let their Raven's Crime resolve. Or pass priority back to me anyways. Now I'm just going to F6. Target something silly. I'll target Path, whatever. Just being good practice, targeting things you can actually cast. Or targeting things that are castable. And not a sorcery. Alright, what is this? Countryside Crusher. For you guys that don't know what that does, at the beginning of this upkeep, they mill over cards. And every land that goes in the graveyard, they mill over cards so they hit a non-land. And every land that goes in the graveyard makes Countryside Crusher bigger. Makes it, and I can't even get back these Path to Exiles now. Wow. These are all my paths, and I have used my Snapcaster Mage. And it's a 5/5, so I can't even kill it. So this thing's just going to get massive. Huh. This deck is very strange. The deck I'm playing against is very strange. I'll just cycle this Manamorphose. Guess I'll just add a red and a blue here. Alright.
Jim?
Alright, so let's see how big this thing's gonna get. Got pretty lucky. He milled over a Seismic Assault. Okay. I feel like the longer the game goes, the more likely my opponent is to win. So I kind of like them getting aggressive and attacking. It's better for me than them not, than them just holding back with this, because they're going to start loaming back cards and having them for Seismic Assault, and I just probably can't win at that point. Bottom that, top the Forked Bolt, because it's just a burn spell. Play my land and get in for 2. See if I can string together 7 points of burn before this thing just kills me. Probably gonna die this turn. Oh, same thing happened again. Maybe I should have bottomed that Forked Bolt. He's gonna loan back some lands. I think I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm dead to that. Yeah. Well, I mean, he could just attack me and then. Yep. All right. Lost that one. Probably gonna want this wear and tear. I'm gonna bring in the second right. Spell Pierce seems better than Dispel and Snare. Those actually seem pretty bad. Rest in Peace is gonna be great, obviously. Gut Shot seems bad. Well, he has birds. Probably just trim down on probes. And I'll cut one Gut Shot. Because like they get pretty bad late, so see how this works. I think this deck is actually the deck my opponent's playing. I think it's powerful and very viable. I've played against it before, and I mean it always seems pretty good. This hand's great. These could be anything. This is a good threat. I mean, opponent has a lot of removal, so it's not like a typical matchup that I'm used to playing with this deck. But you know, as far as this deck goes, this hand's great. Opponent's on a mulligan to 6 already. And they bottomed a card. So this gets a Steam Vents. I want to try to not fetch basics if I can. And I already have one in my hand, so hopefully I don't draw the other one, because a Ghost Quarter is just going to be a strip mine. See, if this is a turn 1 bolt again, that's bad. Yeah. Well, see if I can dig for some threats here. That's a pretty good threat. So I want to top, because I want to draw Delver, play Delver, and then flip it, and then be able to play Mentor. Okay. Opponent's doing some damage to themselves. Taking a turn off to cast Loam is pretty good for me. Play this Delver, and maybe they'll just tap out for a Seismic Assault next turn, and I can tear it. That'll be ideal. Then flip my Delver, and then be able to cast Mentor. Mentor is probably going to die, but then my Delver doesn't, so. But I have a probe, so I can go Mentor, Probe, attack, and then have like a few threats in play, so I think that's good. Hopefully this is not a Countryside Crusher. Hopefully this is just a Seismic Assault. Well, I mean, I guess they're going to kill my Delver with that, but. Go ahead and tear that. They'll kill my Delver in response. Yep. That's fine.
You didn't get a package, did you? You did?
Drew the probe I knew I was going to draw. Play Mentor and Probe. So I've put 2 threats into play. Oops. Maybe I'll draw another probe or some free spell. Okay. Decay Birds, Raven's Crime. That's not bad. So I have some burn spells.
Do you mind if I get?
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna go get my package real quick.
Okay. See what my opponent's going to do. They're probably deciding between deploying a threat or killing my Mentor, which I think you just have to kill this Mentor. Just do not let me untap with it. Like, they have one black mana, so they can't decay and Raven's Crime. They are effectively at 8. I've only dealt 1 damage, I believe. Maybe none. Have I dealt any damage to my opponent? They've fetch shocked, fetch shocked. I'm not sure if I dealt the 1 damage. But he casts Loam. Loam, play a land, decay my inventory. You have to kill this. Yeah, there's a decay on the mentor. So, can get in some damage here. This will deal 7 total. Put my opponent down to 6. Alright, well. It's another decay, okay. It's not great for me. Birds of Paradise, okay. They're at 5. You know, Raven's Crime now? Yeah, that's fine. I'll ditch this Visions because I need to get this bird out of the way. Gut Shot, does that kill my opponent? Probably. Yeah, Gut Shot the bird, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that's lethal. Alright, so Gut Shot the bird out of the way. Then I'll fork my opponent down to 3. And then I have 3 power. Okay. Now I have to win on the draw. Wow, if I had drawn this card at any point, I would have been really sad. On the draw, I think I want this Gut Shot back in. And I'll trim a Manamorphose, actually. Because I don't feel like I'm going to... Maybe I should trim all those, because I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get a lot of value out of them. That's why I kind of cut down on the probes, because like I'm going to know my opponent's hand most of the time because of Loam. And probe gets its most value when you have a lot of creatures out. Like most of the time in Modern now, I'm not used to playing against a deck, you know, just stock full removal, which is what Modern used to be before... What Modern used to be before all the Eldrazi kind of took over. Now there's not a lot of removal in decks, so you can get away with playing like these threat light decks. Pretty far away from casting that. Pretty far away from casting Mentor. But I do have a Tear, 2 Bolts, and a Spell Pierce. I think this isn't good enough. So I'll mulligan. This hand is 100 times better, so keep that. Put Delver on top. And then we can go turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Rest in Peace, and should be not bad. Yeah, he's going to cast Looting, pitch a couple Life Runner Loams and a land, probably. No, just a couple Life Runner Loams. This is going to go get his Steam Vents. And this is going to die. Hopefully he spends his turn killing this, and I can untap and slam Rest in Peace. And he has Abrupt Decay, but hopefully he decays this. Well, I don't know what just happened. Oh, he loamed back. He loamed over a Flame Jab. Oh, God. He loamed over a Flame Jab. Okay. Well, at least this rest in peace is going to be good. And he already loamed over an abrupt decay, so this is going to go get a. I have a couple white cards in my hand, so maybe I want a couple white lands. This is going to go get my rest in peace. And if nothing else, this gets a little bit of value because it gets rid of a loam and some lootings and a flame jab. So next turn, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play this mentor out against a deck like this or just hold it. Usually, like against the Eldrazi decks and like the company decks and Affinity and Infect and all that, I just play it because it's not going to die most of the time. So I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to play it in this matchup, just naked. But I mean, is he gonna? If he has decay, if he has bolt, that's bad. But if he has decay, he has to decide whether or not to decay my rest in peace or my mentor, and that's like, it's a lot of damage if he doesn't just kill Countryside Crusher. Okay, so that's always a 3/3. Wait. Okay, so it does it before. I never played with this card and Rest in Peace out. So it can never become a 4/4 until he kills the Rest in Peace, but it does mill him until he hits a land. Or a non-land, sorry. Okay, second Mentor makes this play a lot easier. I should maybe be killing this Countryside Crusher because if he does like upkeep kill my Rest in Peace, then it could get bad for me, but now he has to decide between the Mentor and the Rest in Peace. Murderous Cut. Okay, well, that sucks. Well, I guess he can't cast it. He can't cast Cut until he has 5 mana. Definitely not blocking. Another Countryside Crusher. Ooh. So this is, I could have to go down to 6 here. It's like, I don't think I get greedy. I could get greedy and play Mentor and Probe down to 7. Well, I guess that's not too greedy. I guess that just puts a lot of blockers in play. Yeah, I like that play. I like the second Mentor here and the Probe to 7. Because I have 4 blockers. And I'm at 7. And then I have like a lot of power coming back on the backswing. And I could maybe draw like a gut shot or something for like a surprise ambush of a bunch of damage. Murderous Cut, Tasker, 2 uncastables and an uncastable. So this Rest in Peace is great. Rest in Peace was very, very good. See what he mills into exile. He got an Eternal Witness. Also not very good against Rest in Peace. If he attacks here, I'm just going to block one of them. Yeah, I'm just going to block one. Save my life total a little bit. I mean, I know I'm not going to die here because I know his hand, but... Alright, that was a good draw. There's a series of draws here where we can just win the game. Alright, drew land. Gutshot Manamorphose, so we're definitely going to go top. Not sure. I can't really go to 2. So I'll play this tapped. But I am going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt one of these guys down. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not missing lethal here. So this is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I think he's just dead. So we're just going to bolt him. Yeah, Mentor's a lot of damage really fast. So when you're playing Mentor, you always got to double check your lethal attackers. Or your burn versus like how much they're actually going to do, because every bolt's going to deal 6 damage here because it's going to give all these +1/+1 and deal 3, and then forked bolt's going to deal 5 damage here. So that's 11 plus the power and toughness of all my guys. So that's round one. I'm gonna play a couple more two mans. And try to dodge some Eldrazi and play some actual modern that's going to be around after rotation because these videos are going to go up pretty close to rotation. I don't want to just have a bunch of my deck versus a bunch of decks that are going to be banned. But I'll be back with round two.